Well. Got this guy. And this is the evening sky. It's supposed to be sunny. But the dark clouds moved in and took over the sky. The moon even is looking kind of dark. Today, the sun was hidden most of the day. Anyway, greetings all. Hope you guys enjoy your day wherever you are. I know some of you are watching the events going on the planet. I've heard people around me crying, God is coming for his world. Now, I laughed just like I'm laughing now because the same people believe that God is always here. So how are you going to make a statement like he's coming for his world? How could he be coming for his world when he's everywhere, present with the earth? If you walk with him, how could he be coming for it? You see, people don't know that we go through these cycles. And in ignorance, they walk, led by the Bible that they follow, call them dead dog. Call them dogs. You know, they lay down. You know what your dog does, lay down. And every time somebody don't know, you hear that? Somebody that the dogs don't know pass by, they start barking. Bible call them dumb dogs. These preachers who try to teach people things that are not factual and beyond their comprehension. Oh, March. The God of war and the God of the people who call themselves the chosen. Anyway, we can't deal with them today. I already told my brothers and sisters, do not call yourself by that name. And I hope you totally comprehend why I told you that at this present time. Because if you look around you, you will see what evil they are doing. And I already explained it to you. They don't want you in Israel because they think you will belong to, you are the chosen of any. They want you because of your DNA. They don't have it, and they want it. But that's going off course now. Even though it's really on course, because it says the people who were there in the beginning will be there in the end. And we were the beginning. And we are the end. When I say we, that African descent means a lot. It is the DNA from which all DNA is born. Human DNA, I should say. Not animal DNA. the most diverse DNA on the planet is African. And it changes like the weather changes. The jokers now have come up with something that they call this really bad case of Ebola. Like if nobody knows that they were working on it. Nobody knows that they were trying to adjust it. When they come up with COVID, they thought that was going to take out the Africans. But they found that the only thing that works really, to some degree in Africa, is Ebola. And they thought that nobody was watching while they were doing this foolishness. But then again, most black people are not watching. Most Africans are not watching either, even though some of them are involved in the research. Them and the British and the Canadians and the Australians and a few other names that I'm not going to name right now. But you are known. And when they say you, the same people I warn my brothers about, don't call yourself by the name of the Jews. Because at some point, when they begin the trials, your DNA profile is going to come up. And when you walk before the judges and say, I'm a Jew, and he says, show me your record that you were not a part of the evil that these people did, and you can't prove it, what the old people used to say, tarnations are you going to do then? Some people will say, what in the hell are you going to do then? Stay out of this. You have a name. Call yourself by the name you were given. Don't take on somebody else's. Okay. But now to our people. From the time I started making videos about the economics of Africa, instead of just, warning people about buying land in Gambia and Africa too, about the scams and the water, the things that were going on that I was seeing and nobody was talking about. And after the little conflict in Ukraine started, so look people, this is going to affect us. 3 years down the road, this is what's going to happen. And I told the young men of Africa, go back and watch my videos from 3, 4, 5 years ago. Let's see, 20, 21? Yeah, about 4 years. 3, 4 years. Young men, you have to stand up, take away your future from these old men who have been bought, who sold their soul to the devil. Forget about this thing you are calling this culture. You are looking at the culture and show respect to somebody who is not showing that they care about you. You are starving, in bad health, dying, while They have suitcases of money, as you see all over Africa, when the AES, when those people start kicking out the leadership. Today, you're seeing the French, the Israelis, UAE, the Saudis, all joining together. And you might say, no, Saudi is in a war with Iran. Nope, they're involved. All the Arab states, all the Arabs are involved in destroying the African, not Africa, the African people. Some through wars and some through education. And I told you how I went to stores in Gambia, Nigeria, and there are people there who can't write their name in their tribal code, tribal language, in English or French. And they claim to speak French, but they can write their name in Arabic. See? That's when they cannibalize your brain with the education. You look like an African, but your brain is Arabic. And when I say your brain is Arabic, you see, you can speak any language because language is a means of communication. But when you forget yourself, then you got a problem. When somebody's religion is seen as above yours, you have a problem. You have a serious problem. You go to school to get education because you want to get a job. And you're learning the task, you know. Good night. You're learning the ABCs. You don't want to be an accountant. You learn receivables and learn cash flow. That's what you go to school for. You want to be an engineer, you learn the math. You know, once upon a time you used to go to be a apprentice to somebody. Even when you become a doctor, you didn't go to university to study medicine. You go to a doctor's office or a little clinic that the doctor ran. You follow the doctor around. You learn to be a doctor. That part is gone today because it's turned into how many people they can get into a class. You see, my son's class, 200-300 people. So you don't get the individual teaching, so your qualities it doesn't stand out, you know. People who could become beautiful surgeons, but stumble in studying the way the lessons are taught, kicked out. So same thing, like the SAT. There are people who teach you to pass the SAT. Not that you're good at math and English and history, but they teach you the class, the lesson, the numbers. Said they're going to have this on the test. So this is what you look for, and this is how you solve the issue. That's what that study is about. So that's what you go to school for. But you see engineers. Go back. Engineers who created some of the vehicles we drive. The Toyotas and the Nissans and Mercedes to name one of them. No university taught him how to build cars, but he built one. Enzio, no university taught him how to build cars, but he built them. That's what education is for. A certain, there's certain things you get education. When the colonizer come to you, build you a school and teach you Arabic only, he doesn't want you to grow up and become an engineer that's going to help your country and your countrymen. He wants you to learn English like I did in Barbados. Then I left. My father went to Europe, to England, helped to rebuild Britain after the war destroyed it. Just a few years ago, they started kicking out all the people who went to Britain, all the black people who went to Britain, and they brought in the Ukrainians and all other Europeans. They're still kicking black people out of Britain. The same people who rebuilt the country that was destroyed by their own European brothers. See now, UAE is flattened. Guess who's going to be going to UAE if this conflict with Iran ends? If the same leadership remains in UAE, well, even if some other Arab come into place, there's going to be some kind of black people going in, whether you be Filipino, Pakistani, Indian, and not like the Pakistani and Indians don't like to be called black, but African is going to be going back. Why? The mind is colonized. Those Africans are not going to stay in Africa and use their education to build Africa, even though they see that Africa now is changing. What I want to tell my brothers, you have to get rid of that mindset. Get rid of the leaders who created the path for the Arab states to colonize your brain. Leaders get paid off. You go listen to your imam in some mosque in northern Nigeria or even southern Nigeria, west, Senegal, anywhere in West Africa, all over Africa now today. To build a mosque in the community. He comes down And I've seen it with my own eyes. He comes down and stands up, takes a few photos with the mosque being open. He gets his payoff and go back to his office. You go to the mosque, but there are no doctors in your community, no nurses. I got a call from some people the other day saying, hey, we have a building here in the Gambia. We have a building and we need a doctor and we need nurses, and so can you sponsor it? I'm thinking about it. Yes, because it's something good to do. But in the meantime now, why is it not being sponsored by the wealthy people in the community? When I say wealthy, I mean those who come to Gambia and build a mosque. UAE, Saudi, one of them. Know why? They don't want it to happen. They specifically set out to keep it from happening, from being done. So I'm back to I'm repeating what I'm saying. Young people all over Africa, you have to take away, right? You have to take away the power from these old leaders. You have to. If you don't, you will continue to suffer. This is the time to put an end to what has been going on for over 60 years. You see, I can't go past 60 years because the British, it is their duty to subdue you as an African, to subdue us, I would say. The French, it is their duty to subdue us. They hate us. They have no good intention for us. But our own people, it is their duty. It is their duty. And any one of them that don't see it as their duty to lift up African people in every state in Africa, they have to be removed. If you're watching what's going on in Senegal right now, because this little tussle going on between Sonko, who want the French out, and Faye, who is waffling. Same little thing going on in Kenya, but they don't have any opposition. The only opposition the Kenyan leaders and wealthy people have are the young poor people. You have to get them out. You got 2 years now, and that's pushing it hard. You see, Trump is doing everything that he can to keep the hand of the Jew to keep the hand of the Jew around the neck of everybody in what they call the Middle East. But slowly failing. This thing can go on for another 2 years. If it goes past that, then everybody's in trouble. There's only one way it's going to end. You're going to see mushroom clouds going up everywhere. Because what's going to happen is that the American people are going to be in a position where they have no hope. If the war ends, then they have hope that the economy can recover, that their leadership will refocus on rebuilding America. Without the war, and especially if the war is lost, right? The American people is going to be calling for total destruction. Not only Iran, but Israel, who they once supported as God-chosen people. But now they can see different. Wherever you are, watch what you do, you're surrounded. I don't talk about the war ending because you can see it. How many times have Trump pretending that he is having talks with Iran and they're close to having it, and then the day before they sign the agreement, bombs are ordered to be dropped on Iran or whoever. But something else is going on behind the scenes. The Chinese and the Russians have decided, you know what? We've made the Americans spend so much money and use up all their weapons, and the world now see exactly what America is like. So now we're going to step on the legs so America can't walk around the world. We're going to step on the hands so they can't pull the strings. Next step is a step on the head, on the neck. And that's when war starts. The only person in the world that you can step on his neck and he will not react is African. We better start reacting. The Chinese have long been patient. The Russians long been patient. That's why the war in Ukraine has not ended yet. It could have been ended long ago. But they have set a program up to entirely strip America of its will to do what's doing around the world. And that's what you're watching happening now with this war. Slowly being stripped of the ability to put your foot on. Read British history. Go back and look at what happened to Britain between 1889, well, a little bit before that, and 1939. By 1939, when Adolf Hitler marched all the way to France, the British had to withdraw. Britain was done. And if America, the Nazis got sold out too. And that's not a subject that people talk about. But Nazis developed weapons that was tearing Britain apart. Every part of Britain was getting hit. By missiles. America took up those missiles, improved on them, and then America built something called a global hawk. And from the time somebody built that weapon, it changed war. Now that same change is bringing an end to the person who created the weapon. If you go through history, you'll see that that is a pattern. The crossbow, the longbow, they were not indigenously British tools, but the British, used it with the same thing with the rifle and black powder. Anyway, history. What happened from the time it began till now will tell you. And you will see the pattern being repeated. It's a pattern. But the people of Africa is not going to be an easy task. The young men of Africa, you don't have to be on the opposition marching the street. You're in the military. The same military that these same leaders use for self-protection. When you sit down and say, hey, look, my family at home is starving while you live in this big palace, it can't happen. Nobody gets hurt. Nobody gets killed. You're just looking out for the people in your country rather than the one man who's barely feeding you but can spend millions, billions on weapons that you carry to kill your own people. You have to stand up. Time is getting short. Peace.